This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of MP Crowley Incorporated and by Rockland Trust, where each relationship matters.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the City of Leominster, and we do this show called Inside Leominster each and every Thursday from 4 to 5 o'clock. It's a live call-in show. Our phone number is 978-534-1626. We'll continue to put that number up. But we reserve the bulk of the show tonight to just go over taxes, just explaining the tax process, real estate taxes, how we set value. What is that information that you have on your tax bill? What does all that mean? And if I'm not happy with my tax bill and I disagree, what do I do? And so our phone number, again, we'll keep it up there. It's 978-534-1626. And we'll get the assessors on in just a couple of minutes. But if for some reason you don't get, based on the amount of conversation on social media, I expect there'll be a lot of calls. Should we run out of time at 5 o'clock? Then typically the assessors be at City Hall right now, but since we're doing the show, so our regular hours at City Hall are 8:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. On Thursday nights, it tends to be quieter on Thursday night. You can just come to City Hall. We're open till 5:30. I say Thursday nights because it's not as busy on Thursday nights as it usually is during the daytime or other days. And but don't wait too long, because if you do want to file for an abatement, there is a certain amount of time that you have. So we're gonna take a little break right now because we've got some video to show you. While we set up with the assessors, they brought their laptops, so they'll be able to look up your property and have a cool conversation. All right, we'll be right back. Directions.
I thought we were right on board.
We had a little citation. These gentlemen came into City Hall a couple months ago with a vision and a plan, and it was music to my ears because it brings back another generation of gaming, and pretty exciting. How are you? Pretty exciting things that they're doing in here. This is right outside of the Orchard Hill Park, and well, we'll get a chance. Did you already get some film inside? You did? Oh, it's pretty exciting. Scott, did you play any games? You played one. Melissa played Super Mario. You played a few.
Dr. Mario, NBA Jam. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for following through. We love this. This is right off the highway. Something that people have been talking about for so long, and there's certainly an industry. And anyway, congratulations. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
And maybe tell us a little bit about yourselves and how this all came about.
Yeah, so I'm John, and I actually was kind of the glue for all of this. I found Rainey, who owns the Gate Escape, and myself and Jim, we ended up running an event here back in July. We had the idea to connect with a convention that actually owned about 35 arcade machines, and they ended up lending us the machines to use here in this space, and Rainey was willing to work with us to utilize some of the space within the Gate Escape. And I brought on Don to help with repairs and just being involved, and then Ryan is helping with the food. So
is that the truck over there?
Yeah.
All right.
Got a food truck.
Yep. So that's
What do you mean one of your trucks?
We got two.
You got two.
We got two right now.
So you can come here and eat
yes.
and play games? And
Yes.
That's right.
And you're open. What hours are you open?
Currently, we're open a lot. We may adjust, but right now it's noon to 9 during the week, and then on the weekends till midnight.
Nice.
And on Saturdays, we're doing all-you-can-eat specials.
Well, thank you for doing this. And people can come from all over. It's right off the highway. It's perfect.
Yep.
And the name of the business?
Retro Nights.
Retro Nights Arcade.
I really like this.
I love it.
That's cool. Very cool. Who did that? Who did the graphics for it?
A friend of his helps with a lot of it.
That's
graphic
I
arts.
didn't know if one of you had the idea and put it together and maybe it for somebody. But anyway, here we are for the official grand opening, and they're officially open. So you heard the hours, and for $45 you can come here, and it's cheaper than any place I know that you can go and eat and play all day.
Eat as much as we want.
Do you own the company?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
do? Wow,
yeah,
then it's
yeah.
official. You can eat all you want. I'd say we might get an email from his boss saying, wow, you know, within reason.
Yeah. As much grilled cheese as you want.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down.
Yeah.
Appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Good
Thank
show.
you.
As much as we can. All right, we're back here inside Leominster, and it's a new business in town, and we welcome them. It's kind of cool to see that the games of yesterday are now the games of another generation. And actually, what's even cooler is that you see parents in there with their kids, because their parents played those games, and now their kids are playing them. All right, we're not going to waste any time. We're talking Tax Thursday. Talking Tax Thursday. And it's our phone number there if you have any questions. Or again, it's obviously a lot easier if you go to City Hall and you go to the assessor's office. They have everything in front of them, like so much data and keyboards and everything. But we'll do the best we can tonight. Anyway, my guest tonight, this afternoon, is Rena Gagne. She's the chief assessor, right?
Correct.
Thanks for coming on. Rich Dondero is the assistant assessor. How long have you been here now?
12 years.
12?
12 years.
Steve Spagnola is brand new, right? But
Yes.
assistant assessor. And we give a big shout out to Molly and Rayanne up there for, they understand the system too. So there's everybody there that will take the time, whatever time it takes, to go through your tax bill. If you want to call, make an appointment, that's fine, and there's no interruptions. But as I said, Thursday nights are at City Hall, we're open till 5:30. So let's take a, do they have anything on the screen here that we can show the breakdown of a tax bill? No.
We didn't bring that.
Ah,
We didn't.
So let's take, I did ask people to take their tax bill out, and I brought mine just as an example, so you know, just one of mine so you could see, and see if I could find it now. All right, so I have mine, and upper right-hand corner, there's the billing date and the bill number, right? So my last year's bill number was 8994, and this year it's 8995. So first thing it does is it gives a location. So if you're looking at it, it'll say, well, the first thing it does on the far left-hand side is it gives you the current rate, and it gives you last year's rate, and last year it was 1403 per thousand, and this year it's dropped down to, I'm on the new one, 1366. Now we have the same tax rate, or we call it the factor, for business and residential. Now there are communities too, I can think of Worcester and Fitchburg, that went more towards
The split rate.
split rate, but now they're coming back the other way. It didn't work, it didn't help with business, and so I think as long as I've been here, we've had a single tax rate. So we could talk about that later, but some questions about, well, how come Home Depot doesn't pay more? Or how come, well, you know, it's the reason we bring in businesses is and there was a certain time when businesses really looked at what the tax rate was, and a lot of factories and manufacturing. Today, not so much for certain businesses. So Chick-fil-A isn't going to come in and say, what's your tax rate? But we don't have any way of saying, well, this business gets taxed this much, this other business doesn't. And then residential and commercial, it just gets all clustered, right? So it gets confusing. So we have a single tax rate for business and resident, and for homes and residential. Then the other thing, if you look to your tax bill, it'll say location. It obviously gives you the location. Make sure that's correct. Make sure we don't have over 15,000 bills. there's a chance somewhere along the line, you know, we got the wrong house on the wrong lot. That's not common, but I'm just saying this. You want to, the first thing you want to do is verify the information is correct. And then it'll give you the, I think it'll give you the parcel number, which is, in my case, 45-1, right? And that's not the book and page number, though, right?
No,
that's
it
just
isn't.
the parcel number. Then it gives me the classification for my property, and this says 1050, so I assume that's Residence B, right?
No, that's classification 1050 is a 3-family.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a 3. We use it as a 2. No big deal. Okay.
Don't tell the assessors.
Don't tell the assessors. Property value in, let's see, in 2025 was $446,300. Now it's up to $497,600. I'll give you this.
So yeah, give him.
I'm just giving you an example.
So Dean, if you give Steve your address, he's going to plug that in.
It's 248 6th Street. And then, now here's the part, because some of this gets estimated, right?
The preliminary bills.
So in July, you get a bill that goes, this is where it gets confusing. So I had somebody who likes to make, you know, is very critical about everything, say, oh, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. I said, no. I said, when you're trying to explain taxation in Massachusetts, it's sometimes difficult because you get your bill one time, they set the tax rate, the budget's then, and you get your first bill, the actual bill, in January.
Correct.
That gets a little confusing. That's where we try to help people out. We didn't invent that system. That isn't like Leominster adopted that system to confuse people. That's the state law. No, that's taxation, municipal finance. Doesn't make any sense sometimes. We don't think too much about it because we know it. Once you know it, you're like, okay, that not makes sense, but it does. So yes, I understand the system here. I've dealt with it long enough. It's just, for some, it could get confusing. So now, so my bill went from 6261 to 6797, so 6800. Now, is that my actual? Is that my actual bill, or is some of it estimated in July? So when you send out the July bill for the new fiscal year, you don't know yet what my tax bill is.
No, it's an estimated bill on
So it's
last
estimated.
year's assessment.
So is that 6797? Is some of that bill estimated?
Are you looking at your January bill?
I'm looking at my January bill.
That is...
None of that is estimated.
No, that's your actual tax bill based on this year's tax rate.
Okay,
times
but what
your-
if you didn't charge me enough because my value went up? You didn't know that until later.
Sure.
Well, we may have sent you a supplemental bill. Is this on?
No?
No, this one didn't.
This is your
receive.
But
3-family.
in the past, it used to come up, like some of it was estimated, so yeah, it's a little bit high, but it's not reflective. So if I take, let me see, if I take...
Well, Steve has that on a form right for you. Right now, he can show you what you paid in your preliminaries.
Yep.
Out of the total 2026 assessment. And he'll also show you why your third and fourth quarters are different than your first two.
All right, if I take my bill, total tax, 6797.
You have to take off the preliminary bill, what you paid for your
Yep, what you
first two
paid in
quarters.
July and September, you
Right.
take those off.
But where is that in here?
I don't think it's on.
They don't
Right.
explain it to people. That's why
Okay.
we're here
Right.
tonight.
That's the problem. Okay? So I got a bill, and I don't look at anything else. I don't know my preliminary bill. I didn't talk to anybody about a preliminary bill.
What we can tell you
I-
is,
So then I take this, and I divide it into 4.
nope.
No,
There's
no,
your
but I'm just
mistake.
saying, if you take that total amount and divide it into 4, my bill is $16.99, but then I look at this and it's $18.33. That's because, and that's where I was trying to go.
Okay.
Some of that is estimated.
Correct.
So you're picking up the difference.
Correct.
In this bill. When I pay this bill
Yes.
in February,
Yes.
it's going to have the estimated that was July
already
and
paid.
whatever,
Correct.
and this bill. So my bill isn't really $16.99 per quarter.
Correct.
It's
You took your total on your January 1.
no, that's what it's going to be. Correct?
Steve, you can tell him.
No, so-
$67.97 divided into 4 is $16.99,305.
No, you're not dividing it by 4. You're taking whatever you paid in the first two bills
Yep.
off of this
The total.
bill, the total. So let's say for easy numbers, it was a $5,000 assessment tax bill. In the first two quarters, you paid $2,000. that $3,000 is going to be cut into two bills, so you'll have two $1,500 bills. Does that make sense now? Yeah.
Okay. I'm just doing this so that this is
Yeah,
how,
but it's never-
these are the questions
Those
I
are the
get asked. Like, what is my actual bill? And I should be able to divide it into 4, and that should tell me what my quarterly bill is going to be.
Correct. However, when you're doing that based on the third quarter value or a
Third
tax
quarter is now.
number,
We've
is
already
now
paid
exactly
2 quarters.
Right. So the best way to look at
Even
this,
though it's a fiscal year starts, the calendar year is
Yeah,
January.
I'd like to speak to
Fiscal
that.
year is July 1st on. So you've already gotten 2 bills.
so July
that you paid.
1st, your first 2 payments were based on last year's value, last year's tax rate.
Correct.
We don't have a new tax rate or a new value until January 1.
Correct.
So that said, we didn't know your new value or the new tax rate. We add the total for the year, and whatever you paid on the first 2 installments would be taking off of the total. So again, if the increase in value, and that's what gets multiplied by a tax rate, plus the tax rate went down, we're taking the first 2 payments off of the total for the whole fiscal year, and then whatever's remaining, you have to pay in the 3rd and 4th installments.
Right.
So typically, in an increasing real estate,
So is the 3rd and 4th installment going to be higher?
Depends.
in an increasing market, in a decreasing
So
market.
let me just explain
In a
this. 'cause
decreasing market,
You're talking tax talk, and people get it confused. So let me do it this way. All right.
Sure.
Let me do it this way. This I think is the way to help. Okay. So this year the property is worth $497,600. Okay.
Yep.
And let's times the new rate, which is
$13.66.
$13.66.
Correct.
That's
Divided by 1,000.
my total bill, correct?
Right, for the whole fiscal year.
For the whole fiscal
So now, look at it like this.
Now, it may come in differently, but that's my total bill.
So you're going to subtract your first 2 payments from that
Which would have
to
been.
make it simple.
Yep.
And then the remainder is going to be divided into 2 quarters.
Right. So
Absolutely.
if you want to know what your real tax bill is, like you take the value where it says value, property value. In this case, it's almost just rounded off. It's 500,000, right? And then multiply it by, because that's where you got to start. Multiply it by 1366, and you should get that top number.
Absolutely.
Correct? You should get that top number. That's your actual bill. Now, because the first 2 quarters were estimated, there's going to be some either catch up or reduction or something.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So there could be some reduction. So that's why your bill seems higher. Correct?
That's
why.
correct.
That's why it seems like, wait a minute here, time out. So I hope that, but again, that can be explained if you want to make an appointment to come in, or you can even call. And we'll take your specific tax bill if you want and break it down for you so you can see what the actual bill is. I just explained how to do it and what is maybe the makeup. Now, when we do this, the first thing that gets done every year is a budget. And it's a pie, right? So we do a budget. And I could explain that in a budget, 99% of the budget is already done. It's the cost of trash that might have went up. It's busing. Busing doesn't count towards the school budget. Okay, that's got to be explained. So I can guarantee you there's a yearly increase in that. We haven't hired any new people. There's been 3 assessors for
Years.
I don't even know how long, right? There's been 2 clerical people.
Correct.
The HR department, any other HR department in the whole state, we've checked, there's 1 person in there, no secretary. So we haven't hired any new people. And now, there's 4 vacancies in the police department. We'll hire them because, those are funded positions. So we haven't increased the size or the amount of people that work in city government. But we have just like everybody else, we have our increases along the way, and health insurance, and some of the things. And in the budget, the state says you have to give a certain amount to the schools. It's called net school spending or minimum spending. So already before you even do the budget, all of these things are the basic things that you have to do. And in the end, there's like 1% that's how do we make that work? Or we had an increase in our own personal insurance for the city. In other words, liability insurance goes up. So we're like, okay, we gotta add a little bit there. So we have a pie because we did a budget. The budget's pretty much predetermined. We'll be sitting down and we pretty much know what our budget is in every department, what their expenses is, what the phones cost, what the computers are. And then there's the things that cost us more. Oh, more to the schools. And I'm not saying we shouldn't give to the schools. There will be people that'll say you should be giving more to the schools. Okay, for tonight's conversation, this is what we're required to give. And then, if we're going to continue with the solid waste program that we have, then we have to do that. So we add it all up, and that's the budget. And then from the budget, we divide it up fairly into 15,000 or whatever it is tax bills across the city. We take that pie and we slice it up. But we got to do that fairly. Let me take the call, and then we'll caller. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dino.
Hey, Crystal, how are you?
Doing good.
How's things up there? All right, you doing okay?
Gardner's good. Gardner's good.
Yep, Crystal moved to Gardner, but she's here in Leominster all the time. She's still at Hannaford. Right?
Did you? Yep.
Well, it's good to hear from you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'm still at Hannaford still.
Crystal knows everybody at Hannaford. And I know everybody that knows Crystal. That's how it works down there. She's like a celebrity.
So, I heard you cannot make to my speech on Monday.
Yeah. We were having fun. We were live, though.
You want me to say my speech to you?
What's that?
You want me to present my speech to you now, or do you want me to wait?
I'll have you wait, because I have guests on tonight.
Okay, I'll talk to you later, my
All
friend.
right, Crystal, take care. So we have a pie, and now we got to divide it up, right? And what your job is to make sure you want to fairly put value. So it doesn't matter if you're the mayor, it's your house, it's your brother's house, your friend's house. Your job is to give a fair distribution and put value on it. So as we slice up, and I explained today, you don't give the same slice of pie to a 5-year-old as you do to a 25-year-old, right? You kind of like, you get a little slice. Well, some people's, slice is smaller. It's just, the city doesn't take in any more money as a result of reclassification as we kind of divide up the pie. We do take in money from the growth. Somebody builds a house, puts an addition on, whatever. That money we take in, and under Prop 2.5, we take in, the state allows us to take 2.5% more, that whole budget process. And that's what we have to work with. Yep, we do take in excise tax. Somebody brought up today, well, the city takes in X amount of dollars on unrestricted aid from the state. Well, we pay the state taxes, and then the state, the strangest thing, the state is supposed to do what's required of the state by law. So MassDOT, MBTA, National Guard, state police, state offices. The problem is it has become like this, so less of it comes back. So if you saw the Mass Municipal report that was done pre-Christmas, you'll see that unrestricted aid has really actually gone down, and it hasn't even increased over all of the years, which means when they say unrestricted is what it should be, the aid should come back to the money should come back to us, or we should be able to keep it to do with it what we want to do with it. We have to send it to Boston, and then there's this whole thing about putting in for grants, and you go to this. No, that's not how the system was originally set up. It's you take the money and do what the state is supposed to do, and the rest of the money goes back to or you just don't, so it comes back and they have a formula for unrestricted aid, but the 5 point whatever that amount is nothing compared to what our costs are. So that's the discretion, those are the dollars that we have to work with. So we don't have a debt exclusion. We don't have an override. We haven't had one. We never had one. There's no special assessment. So when we build a school, we just do it out of our budget, try to save where we can. And we've done the police station. Somebody said, well, we raised taxes to the police station. No, we took it out of the budget, but we stay within Prop 2.5. So then we have to divide it all up. So it is safe to say that some properties go up, some go down, some stay the same. It's just redistribution. How do you describe that? You guys are better at that than me.
It is redistribution, and it's really not that some go up and some go down. If they're going up, it's typically based on, did they put in an enlarged addition?
Right.
You know, if you have a single-family house, a lot of them haven't gone up other than fair market value, because the state doesn't want us to lose fair market value on your assessment. You don't want your assessment to be less than what property in the neighborhood is selling for.
Well, I want to sell my house for, I want to pay
top
less of my
dollar.
taxes and I want to sell my house.
Exactly.
But a lot of people say, right, but in this redistribution, new growth is separate. New growth is different.
It is.
Yes, that's going to come in.
But it's coming into
But we're not taking in, if somebody says, well, I'm paying $1,000 more and the guy across the street paying $1,000 more, we're not taking in $2,000
No.
more. That means somebody else's bill might have went down or stayed the same or something happened. We didn't take any more money because the pie is already determined. We already got
Right.
the pie, right? I mean, the pie's the pie.
Yeah.
the pie is the pie, but
Right.
Yeah,
Unless there's new growth.
To Rena's point, you know, and new growth aside, I believe what's happening as far as redistribution is some properties are more advantageous in a certain marketplace. Like right now, 2
Right.
and 3 families are going through.
This all started, believe me, it was always pretty level value until people are getting older and they wanted a ranch. Then all of a sudden, people are living in a house and like, my ranch is worth $200,000?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, and then condos.
Right. So
It's
you know,
because it's based on last year's sales.
That's
It's
right.
not anything else other than the fact that, you know, like I'm looking at my bill and I'm like, yeah, that guy next door, he did it to me. He went through the whole place. I mean, he just got a beautiful house.
if you got a good dollar for that, and it's
Right.
just like
Right,
your house,
right.
now we're
Right.
looking at that as an indicator.
Right. Now we're saying, hey, similar size house and looking next door. And so it's based on last year's sales. But I think if you look on social media, somebody's paying $800 more, somebody's paying $1,000, somebody's paying $300, and I'm adding it all up. I'm like, we're not, unless it's new growth.
But there, you have to remember, that person, they think that they have the same house. But if you look at the square footage, they could have...
No, I know. That's why I wanted to specifically talk. I figured
Right.
the phones would be ringing off the hook today because everybody was upset all weekend long. That's why. What did I say on Friday? I'm like, let's do something here because I'm going to spend my whole weekend answering you.
Yes.
And I did. I don't have a problem. That's my job. But I'd like to have the information to give to people. But they post things, but then they don't post. I'm like, send me your information. Like, email it to me, text it to me, message me. Nobody, one person. Wendy, send me your information. That was it. I got nobody else. So I'm like, the phone should be ringing off the hook because I feel like fair value is fair, right? Like I don't want to pay any less, I don't want to pay any more. I don't care who I am.
Understood.
I just want to be treated like everybody else.
Understood.
I don't think I've ever filed an abatement, even when I thought it was high, because it was, oh, the mayor got an abatement, and the story changes. So I'm like, is it worth it? No.
It's your right.
But it's your
I'm
right.
just saying,
and
no, I get it, but trust me.
Mayor, it could be a
You got to
mistake.
weigh it all out. Is it worth it? But
There
here's
could
the
always
part.
be a mistake. Values
Correct.
are going up and down.
But here's the confusing part, and I think you could break it all down by square footage and everything. Here's the tough part. So somebody lives off of Social Security now, living in a house that's worth $500,000 or $600,000. Now they get a bill that's $7,000 a year, and they used to pay $4,000, 10, 15 years ago. And you try to explain, well, that's based on sales, and that's what people are paying. Right. So there's a small single-family house on French Hill. It's selling between $450 and $500 in the next week or so. They haven't done the closing yet. There's a house on Water Street or Spruce Street that just sold for a two-family, I think, over $500,000.
Sure.
There's a house on West Street, a three-family that sold for over $700 recently.
Right.
Another house at the corner of 5th and Mechanic Street, I think it was a 4, might have been a 3, and it sold for over $500,000 2 years ago.
Sure.
Right? So now somebody says, well, I'm living in my house, it's a 1,200 square foot house, 1,500 square feet, I'm now paying, my bill's now $7,000 or $6,000, whatever it is. And I'm living on Social Security. That's the hard part.
It is.
It is.
So, and it's great. Like, I think, wow, geez, if I ever sell my house, maybe we can get $500,000 for it. That'd be pretty good. Correct. But I sell my house. And a lot of these people, so I'm okay. I can afford, I'm in a position where I could pay. But some people are like, every time I think I have a little money saved up, I get an increase. I get my excise tax bill. I get my insurance bill. I get, right? And it's just keep, and there goes my excess money, my little, nest that I thought that I had, that I might be able to do some things or make some improvements on the house. And I really haven't done anything on the house, and they're saying we're, $500,000. That's the hard part. Right. So let's talk about programs or exemptions.
Exemptions.
Like military.
Yes, so veterans, disabled veterans.
Disabled veterans get an
exemption.
Exemption. And how about elderly?
Yes, if
so
anybody
what
over
age do you have
65
to be?
or older, there is the 41D, and that's a $750 because the state statutory amount is $500, but Leominster gives $750.
I'm eligible for.
But you have to. You have to.
Oh, yeah, book that trip.
You have
We're saving
to.
$750.
There is a income limit.
Oh.
So that sometimes.
I work for the city. Yeah, well, I qualify.
You probably qualify. And for the elderly over 70, we have the $609. That has a assets limit, but not an income limit.
Okay.
So
assets means. Hey, honey, hide the money.
Savings accounts. Exactly.
Hide the cash. See how confusing it gets, and I know you all.
Can be.
Each one of you take the time. So that people can understand it.
Yes.
And, but again, I do hear as, we, for the last 3 years, we've been on that Realtor.com list of the most Googled or sought after zip codes. And this year we were like second or something, or third. The year before we were seventh. The year before, we always show up there. And like I said, the good part is if you're selling your house, it's a great thing. Right. The tough part is I'm now living in a community that's sought after, that's the most affordable when you leave Boston and you get to Lincoln and you get to Concord and then you get to Acton and Maynard and you get to Harvard and you get to Littleton. We're the most, right? And even Lancaster, we become the most affordable community there is. And so people that maybe aren't commuting, some companies are like, yeah, you have to come in 2 days a week. You're like, well, I don't have to be out here anymore. I get to come out here, I sell my house.
Well, that's what happened through COVID.
I get I'm going to make money, put it in an account or some sort of investment. I jump on the train, I only have to go in 2 days a week. Yeah. Boy, it's not bad out here. And what's happened is it's brought the values up. And places like Chapman Place, I remember they were valued at $250. And the people who live in there, they're I don't know what those are valued at now. $385 is the last sale. So,
I'm actually 400, but
so that's the issue. Is it's hard to do that, and so it's hard to talk to somebody that worked in a factory or worked in a nursing home at the hospital, and they're house rich, and we have limited, but we do have some programs that's why they should stop down and see you. So every day we find another veteran or their spouse that's eligible for benefits that didn't know about it. Like, come in and talk to us. It's free. We're not going to get mad at you. We're not going to give you an attitude.
Even if you think your value is wrong or a little high, come in and talk to us. We're happy to.
Yeah, my value is $200,000. You saw that, but the doorknob out front is,
But we're happy to go out, take a look at your property to make sure your assessment is in line where it should be.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that's because you never know. I mean, you can't be perfect on everything, right? I mean, you could be off a little. And you guys are willing to, like, oh, you know what? We looked at it. Yes. And then the other thing is, I always see this. The assessors are out in the neighborhoods, and people say, don't let them in. Of course. Okay, then tell me what happens when you don't let them in.
Well, if you took out a pool, for instance, that's what we see a lot of. People put in pools, they put them in when their children were little, now they've filled in the pool. They're still paying for it because they never contacted the assessors and said, we took out that pool 3 years ago. And if we can only get to so many homes a year.
Or I ripped down the garage.
Or I ripped down the garage, or...
Your basement floods, you rip it out, but you don't tell us, to Rena's point.
Or the garage is falling, the garage is falling apart. It's still there, but maybe we change the depreciation code on it. Maybe it's not 50%, maybe it's 20%.
Or it's Sunday and I'm going to slide down to Home Depot and we're going to renovate the basement. We don't want anybody to see it. The bad part about that is,
and I tell
people, and it's something even more important, is not all plumbers put in a check valve. And if you're lower than the sewer system, and for some reason there's a surge in the sewer system for whatever reason, guess where it's going? It'll come up through the washing machine. It'll come up through the sink, the shower, the toilet, and it ain't pretty. We often get calls that says your sewer backed up, and we get there and there's no permit. If you pulled a permit, our plumbing inspector would have told you you're below ground. So there are all those things, and I get it. I explained this today. I don't know how many times people have had a fire in their home, unfortunately. That's a terrible time. And they go to the insurance agent and they say, I had a fire. And, places, it's got to come down. And they had $300,000 worth of insurance on it, but the replacement value is $500,000. Now the insurance people are like, hey, we try to explain to you, the customer that, the replacement value is $500 if something happens. Well, they're only going to get $300. They're not going to get, a new house. So,
Also tell people that with permits. Make sure you get your permits for electrical, and because if there is a fire, you may not get that payment.
And when you sell it, chances are somebody's going to do a home inspection and say, well, none of these things are on there. And then when you get your next tax bill, it's going to be through the roof. And then you're going to be like, so every situation is different. And every person's situation is different. And that's why, please go to the assessor's office. It's on the second floor. We're open every day at 8:30. And on Thursday nights is like a peaceful night to go there. It's quiet. There's always at least one assessor there and staff people that'll walk you through it. But there is a time limit here, right, to file for an abatement.
February 2nd.
So it's February 2nd because we mailed the bills out January 2nd or something. So you have, but that's the date.
It's because
the due date.
February 1st is on a Saturday.
Oh.
So, or on a Sunday, I think.
Sunday.
So we go to Monday.
Right. So you go to Monday, so you have that. Last day you can actually file for the abatement is the 2nd.
2nd.
All right, so you got that. It's Groundhog Day. We're going to have the flamingo downtown to see if it sees its shadows.
Even the groundhog can come down.
The groundhog just gives me the willies, the little rodent. But you can see where the confusion is.
Yes.
I sit there every time and I'm like, Jen in the comptroller, I'm like, Jen, this is the weirdest system. We start our calendar, January is the calendar year. But the fiscal year starts in July. Right. When we do the budget, and before the state has their numbers out, we're doing our budget. So we're doing estimated numbers. Nothing lines up. I don't know. We didn't invent this system. Right. We have to work within the system. And then, as I said, if we're doing estimates on the first 2 quarters, and then you're paying the actual, and they may be making up for the first 2. Sure. So it does get confusing.
If we had a new tax rate before July 1st and new values before July 1st, they could be 4 even bills.
And then set the factor, which happens in November.
Right.
For the next year.
So we're doing it midstream, so that's why we don't know the first 2. And then when we do know, you're making up the difference.
So here's what's next. Get to the assessor's office so they can explain your individual bill. Secondly, if you feel it's overvalued, just file. File for the abatement. That'll still give them some time to go back and check. If you missed that February 2nd date, you missed it, right? There's
that said,
no coming back.
They wouldn't get an adjustment on their
but maybe next
taxes but we'd fix it for the future.
Okay.
We work every day, not just within this month.
So they can come anytime.
Anytime.
We just can't
I'm just talking about now.
But to
take advantage
to affect
of
this tax bill, they want to be there before February.
And then the next thing, the third thing that's going to happen is we're going to start to put a budget together for the school department and the city. School department's budget's going to come over to the city. We're going to put a budget together. We're going to give it to the city council. And there'll be public hearings. So if people feel budget's too big and it needs to be reduced, then people have the right to come. Now, last year, not one person showed up to the hearing.
Sure.
And I put on social media, we put on our sites, we post it, we have to have a public notice. And maybe if people knew, their bill, then they'd come in. But either way, we're setting the budget. That's the time to come in if people aren't happy about, I don't want you to spend this much money on this, or how come we have to spend this much money on that, or can we cut here, or can we cut there? That's a perfect time, the absolute perfect time to come to those meetings when they have public hearings at the City Hall. Now, that doesn't stop you from all year saying, well, how much does this cost? Or what does that cost? Why don't you cut that out or whatever? And I know we have a lean budget. We don't bring on new people. Most of the departments are, when you want to compare them to other communities, even smaller than us, other communities have more staff than we do, and we're not complaining. We managed to make it work, but we're not. I don't think overstaffed, and we just haven't brought on new people in the building department. As long as I've been here, it's my 33rd year. There was 2 building inspectors and 2 clericals.
Sure.
There was 1 plumbing inspector. That's it. Right. There's no other part-time or full-time. That's it. That's the amount of people that are there, and that's the same. In fact, in economic development or the planning department, there are less people. In health department, there's 1 less person because we used to have 2 full-time nurses. Now we have 1. And some of the positions we have for code enforcement are funded by CDBG or partly funded by CDBG, economic development. So some of these other positions come from other sources of funding. We didn't use our federal money to fund positions because 3rd year it's up. Now what? And a lot of communities did use their money for that, and they're in trouble this year.
What happens when that's up?
You've got to pick up the budget you've got to pick up those salaries out of the fiscal year budget, and if you don't have the money to do that, and their health insurance, you're in trouble. And that happened in a lot of school and city departments across the state, and now they're in trouble. Anyway, our phone number is 978-534-1626. I try to address it as a consumer, and I know you guys are like experts in the area that you're at, but sometimes we talk our jargon, you're like hallway jargon, and we understand it, and other people are like, what are they talking about? So I try to.
Yeah.
On that note, Steve built us a very...
Steve is like this. What are you doing? Like miracles up there?
He
What are
is
you
miracles
doing?
with
He's
Excel.
incredible with Excel. And
Yeah, Steve, my bill went up. I'm not happy. Is it because of you?
But we can show you even your bill right here in the breakdown. And he's made it so simple for us to explain to people, and they can visually see the breakdown, the difference between the preliminary bill and the actual bill. And it's all right here.
All the breakdown?
One key.
Because I have to make up, because last year I was valued at 446. Now I'm valued at 487.
Right.
497.
497.
And so I had to make it up somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's what the actual bill is the difference between the fiscal year difference between the.
So some people may have a bill, and they're looking at it, but that's higher than what they're really going to pay because some of it is make up because it was estimated at the time that you sent the bills out.
Well, the most simple solution is to take the actual tax rate from last year and the actual value from last year, which would be your January value and your January tax rate. Multiply those 2, then you got the new tax rate for 26 and the new value for 26. So you're just talking about 2 numbers, and then you actually see your total increase for the year. So that's less confusing than trying to figure out what's on your preliminary.
Right. I know, but it is still confusing.
But it
that's
is.
why.
But
that's why you're in the business.
We're in the business, but we're happy.
For somebody else, I go to a store. And I go to Home Depot, I go to Lowe's, and I buy all this stuff, and it tells me, and if I get a discount, it says the percentage off, and then it tells me 0.0625 for taxes. Pretty simple.
And we have been emailing this spreadsheet to people so they can see it, and that helps, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
If they don't want to come in and see us, just call us, and we'll email you all the information we have.
Right. And it's still tough. I hear a lot. I get it. When some of these people, my father worked in a factory, my mother worked retail. There's not a whole lot of discretionary dollars that are out there, and suddenly you find yourself. I was in, so my aunt lived in Arlington for a long time. So I was at his friend's house, and they call it Arlington Heights. So I'm at his house, and he goes, I got a really good deal out here. I said, well, it's a nice house. I know Arlington's nice neighborhoods. He's right near the highway. In fact, so close. If you look under Route 2, there's like a tunnel that goes underneath it, so you can get to Airwave. And I'm like, wow, this is perfect, And he goes, yeah, I paid $5 something. And I'm like, wow, you stole this place. It was a duplex. And he goes, no, that was for 1 unit. That was like 8 years ago. Those things are worth $1 million now.
Yeah, it's doubled.
And that's fine. He could afford it. But imagine if you were somebody like my aunt, or any of those people that lived there at the time, and they're still alive, and they're trying to hang in there, and it becomes unaffordable, and they feel like, I'm getting forced out of my house.
We see it. We
live
see
here
it,
anymore. And that's the tough part.
And that's happened for generations.
Yeah.
You know,
But more,
unfortunately.
the other day they were saying, and I got to read some announcements after this, but by the way, we have a farmer's market going on at City Hall right now. They've always got good stuff, good stuff, till 6. And I heard the other day, a house in the late 60s, 70s, let's just say it was $20,000 for the house. Might not even been, because I paid for 3-family in 78, I paid 18. So it might have been less than that, but let's just, for the sake of conversation. So with inflation, that house should sell for about $200,000 right now. Do you know any houses that are $200,000? There's the problem.
Right.
Even with inflation, these prices have gone through the roof. That's the problem. So when you get on, I'm coming back the other day, and I'm coming to eastbound from, say, Orange, just that area, and it's 5 o'clock. And the traffic, it used to be nobody heading out that way. And the traffic, and so what's happening is people are getting, so they work east.
Further and
they
further
live
west.
So they're getting pushed out further and further. I mean, we have people that work at City Hall come in from Orange every day. We have people that come from New Hampshire every day. They just kind of like can't afford to stay here anymore. That's the difficult part when I run into somebody that says, hey, this isn't a matter, I don't love it here, I love it here. This isn't a matter of anything. I'm just getting to the point where every penny is going to, that's the part that's tough. And I know you hear the same thing all the time, and hopefully they're eligible for some of these tax breaks, I guess. Or
there is help for people who need it,
And
if they
we have
qualify.
a disability account it isn't huge, but we do have an account that people make donations to that we sometimes can help people with, but especially for disabled veterans. Make sure you're filing for that, the proper forms. If you don't know what they are and you're having a hard time filling them out, we'll even help you with that, or the Veterans Department will help you. I'm tired of forms. There's just forms for everything. Everybody keeps sending me forms. Everybody sends me forms. Like, what's this one for? Right? It's like,
well, it'd be worth
it's a simple form. 4 pages later, I'm still filling out this form. I'm not filling it out. No, just kidding.
It's worth filling them out and coming to see us. If you qualify, it's definitely worth it.
Everything's a form. I get one for the building department. I get one from the license commission. I get one from you guys. Right? I'm like, who's going to fill these forms out? All right. Let's get some things done here. Hang in there. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Just in case we get a call, 978-534-1626. Let's see. I thought I had somebody asking a question on Facebook, but let me see what that means. I don't see anybody with a question. All right. Anyway, thank you for coming on, and we've got a couple. Do we have pictures of the week? Do you know? Anybody know? We don't have to do them. So anybody that's into football, it's Bills versus Broncos Saturday. I think if you want to go to Home Depot or go shopping, probably Saturday and Sunday after 3 o'clock is probably the best time to go. Bills versus Broncos on Saturday at 4:30. 49ers versus the Seahawks, it's at 8. And the Pats versus the Texans, 3 o'clock on Sunday. And the Rams versus the Bears at 6:30. So the health department has so much information about curbside pickup, what they'll pick up. My lid broke on my trash bin. Who replaces that? What will they take? Hazardous materials day. What will they take? When do they have a shredder to register? Everything you can ever imagine. If there are things that I want to get rid of, like an appliance or a TV, is there a cost to it, or is it free? Where do I bring it? If I have yard waste, I want to bring it to the transfer station, 22 Jungle Road. Everything is on our website. It's amazing. City Hall continues to be open after hours, and you can even look. And our IT people this thing hums all night, all day. People from paying bills from somewhere else, they forgot to pay the bill, and click, bang. And it's all at Leominster-ma.gov. That's everything. So you want to register for a rec program, you can go there. It's going to give you another link, which is leominsterma.myrec.com. And but either way, just go to that site. You can also go to It's happening in Leominster to find out what's going on, but they have hours of operations for the transfer station, what they'll take, how much they'll charge you if there are things that they charge. If you have curbside, pickup is going to start this year in April 6th, my daughter's birthday, April 6th. Calendars for the public library, leominsterlibrary.org. Anything you want to find out, including your assessments, your neighbor's assessments. I remember one year the data guy came to us and said, do you realize you're number 1 on our list? This is why I think I lived on Joslin Street at the time, and like, do you know you're like number 1 on our list? I said, for what? And they're like, I don't know, people are checking out your tax bill. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, I got nothing to hide. Anyway, the dollar campaign, you can afford $1 or $5 or $10. It's for the heating fund. We help out families that are struggling to get through the season. We don't have Groundhog Day. We have Featherstone Day, February 2nd at 8 o'clock a.m. in the morning downtown. Public notice, we're having a community engagement meeting for the flooding situation down at Muskoma and Burridge Ave, and it's the next phase of the planning process. That meeting is January 29th, 6 to 8 o'clock at the Monusnock Country Club. And if you're a person that says, I got cable, I don't want to be on the internet, I want something I can read, we have this, we have the print version of It's Happening in Leominster, and it's, we have them at City Hall and some of the businesses around town, or you can get it electronically. And the Senior Center. Everybody's got a newsletter. All right, let's do some days. I don't have much time, but I'll do this quick. It's National Bagel Day. It's National Fresh Squeezed Juice Day, National Hat Day, National Pothole Day, National Strawberry Ice Cream Day. I don't know, unless it's real strawberries, I don't get too excited about it. It's Wikipedia Day. It's Women's Healthy Weight Day. And there's a bunch of other stuff. But one of the important things was in 1974, if you want to go to that next slide, Happy Days begins an 11-year run. 11 years Happy Days was on. I don't know if I saw all of the episodes, but I saw most of them. 1981, Hill Street Blues. 1943, the largest office building, that was the Pentagon, and they housed the military. And, all right, let's do pictures of the week. Boring people with all of this stuff. Let me get my, almost ready. DPW did a wonderful job. Took down the Christmas tree, moved the sleigh. Next thing you know, they did this is like a professional ice skating rink, the way they built it. DPW guys must have been on like Pinterest and YouTube, because they did like a fabulous job. Now they flooded it. We've had a couple warm days, but from now on, we're going to be heading into some cold weather. We will let you know. See the stop? When they flip it around, it says go. That means you can skate on it. I'm hoping maybe Sunday or Monday, but I'm not sure. But we'll let you know. Believe me. I'll be out there like this, you know, like the stick man, you know, like bad knees, and you know, I'll be out there though. I like get a rope and pull me around. Yeah, I get the double runners. Boy, this is amazing. This Maverick Construction has just done an incredible job. The Telegram is going to be out with us tomorrow at 10. And we're going to go underneath and take a look at what's going on. The sad part about this is the actual bridge that goes over Mechanic Street is actually a beautiful bridge. It's got like this Roman style. No, but they're going to culvert underneath it, so you won't see it. But because the parking lot and then the other side is the river, you don't get to see it. And Shot Creek Machine, they're making their own concrete. We were down below a couple weeks ago. It's just amazing what they do. And we'll do a whole show on this because it is pretty amazing. So there they are. That culvert arch actually is loose, and the more weight and pressure you put on it, the more it comes together. It's absolutely beautiful down there. So anyway, they're spraying it because they're going to spray it, and then they're going to slide a culvert underneath. They're going to slide it. They put it together, and they're going to pull it from the other end. It's going to be cool. And there's the Shot Creek process complete. So they spray the whole top of the, you know, for moisture, right? They're trying to encapsulate it. There's going to be a little bit of a space. LCE students headed for their first internship, which is kind of exciting. We have one in our business, and we love to have them there. We hope we can actually hire them to stay there and work through the summers. Sometimes they do, and you know, sometimes they don't. But Great program. There's the Leominster High School Science Club and the Mayor's Youth Council laying wreaths for the veterans in Winchton. And I was so happy that they came. Really, I think it's one of those experiences that once you do it, it's like so heartwarming, like, I'm going to do it again. And it goes quick, too. It can get cold up there. Harrison and Josh from the Mayor's Youth Council are planning their podcast right here at LTV. I can't wait to hear it. They will be guests next week on our show, so that's cool. And celebrate the holiday. Remember, we haven't been here in like a month. Celebrating the holidays in a year, well done. And that's us at celebrating our holiday party. We have to do it after. It just gets too busy. And there's the, I'm starting my 33rd year. There is my first election, and that is Mr. what was it? Oh, geez, now I forget. Lisette. What's this? I'll remember it. But anyway, he was a guidance counselor at the. How old were you when you started? 35. I know, that guy over there doesn't look anything like me. Who's that guy? You stole my youth. I used to look like that. Now you look before and after, and it ain't pretty. But Lacert, it was Mr. Lacert at the time. He was a guidance counselor at the high school many years ago, and I look back and we've lost like so many people that have come out and support us from the very beginning, and then there's still a lot of people that are around, a little older and everything, and then there's new people, and so the circle of life. But it goes by quick. I said it in my inauguration. I'm like, it goes by quick, and people are like, why are you hanging? And I'm like, we really do have a good team of people, and you see it. I remember going to a certain department in the city, and they're like, yeah, we close at 4. I'm like, I need to get some information. Yeah, I know we close at 4. And at 4 o'clock, they had the key and the place is closing at 4, no matter what. I'm like, are you serious? Like, yeah. That's not that way anymore. People jump in. If they think they can help another department or something else is going on, people jump in. It's like, yeah, I know how to do that. You do? They're like, yeah, I know how to do that. I've got, it's a hobby or it's an expertise. And then just people work as teams. And so we get a lot done. And again, we don't have a lot of people, but the people that we have work together and get along. And it makes it work. Makes it work, huh?
Make it work.
Yeah, we do, right?
They're a great crew.
Always adding another cup of water into the soup. Well, we don't have any money. Just add another cup of water. When does it not taste like soup anymore? All right, we're out of time here at Inside Leominster. I want to thank you for coming on. And again, as I said, if you have any questions, they're not your enemy. They're really there to help you out. And maybe there's something they didn't see, or you had a fence around your yard, they couldn't get in, and you took a garage down, or the house is falling apart, they couldn't get in. They're not here to, there's no conspiracy to put it to you. So anyway, phone number at the assessor's office, because we all have that 962 number, but what's yours?
My extension is 3552.
All right, so you call City Hall, you can call our office. And that's the other thing that we did is everybody used to have their own phone line. Did you know that? If you open the phone book, everybody had their own phone line.
Sure.
Our phone bills, you can't even imagine what they were. So now what we do is we have a couple of numbers, but they trunk out. So we're only paying for a few lines, and they trunk out electronically, digitally. So they see a line that's open, and it goes off. And then you have your own extension, so people can call you directly. So we're always looking to save money. I'm always looking to save money.
You're doing a great job.
You see that picture of me before? This is what they did.
I didn't recognize him.
That's what he did to me. Don Darrow did that to me.
Well, not intentional.
How many years?
12.
I looked a lot like that other picture 12 years ago until he got here. And now, all right, we're out of time here inside Leominster. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Thanks for showing up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of MP Crowley Incorporated. And by Rockland Trust, where each relationship matters.
This is LTV.